everybody, it is Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. Welcome to your reading. Today's reading is called What is Blocking Love from Coming In? And this was based on a subscriber request. Thank you so much. And let's go ahead and get into it. We have pile number 1, which is represented by the letter H or horse. If you feel drawn to horse spirit in pile number 1, you'll choose pile number 1. Pile number 2 is cat, the letter C, and cat. Okay, and I had a feeling the letter C was going to come up, and I randomly was like drawing letters out of a bag, so that's interesting. We have C for cat for pile number 2, and then for pile number 3, we have U for unicorn. So go ahead and go directly to the description box below and choose your pile, and we will begin. Also, those of you who are interested in a personal reading with me, details for how to request one are below. For tarot readings, there's instructions. And then if you'd like a natal chart reading, I do have my October and November dates open, so you can go ahead and book that if you're interested. And for those of you that really want to get nitty gritty with your love life and take a look at the timing that's happening in your life, I do recommend an astrology reading where predictive techniques are used in order to forecast your love life, taking a look at the past and what is coming up in the future. So for those of you that are interested in that, you can certainly book a natal chart reading and request that we go a little bit deeper into your love life. For those of you that are like, when am I going to meet a person, or when is something noteworthy going to happen? But in this tarot reading specifically, we will get into some of the things that may be holding you back from finding love or making you feel discouraged, whatever the reason is. So let's go ahead and begin. And we will start with pile number 1. Just want to send a shout out to everybody out there as we embark upon Scorpio season. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to ring a bell here. And let us begin. I hope everybody is taking good care of themselves, both physically and mentally, and let's do it. Pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose the letter H, or H for horse, and today's reading is called What is Blocking Love from Coming into Your Life? For those of you that are very much wondering what is next for you in love, or why isn't it been happening for you, and maybe what are some of the habits that you have that maybe have been blocking a more easier flow of love into your life. So let's go ahead and let's begin. Spirits, angels, and guides, please connect me to the energy in pile number 1. Who comes here with an open heart and open mind, seeking your guidance. Thank you for allowing me to be the medium in the channel between yourself and pile number 1. Spirit, show us what is blocking love for pile number 1. What is your message to pile number 1 regarding feeling a block in their love life? What is your message regarding this? Okay, and I feel like you guys are like, yeah, and what's the solution? Okay, so we're going to get the tarot cards here, and then I'll go ahead and move into the oracle cards. We have the 7 of Pentacles, feeling very frustrated, very tired with the way that things have been happening in your love life. And it's like, I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. And sometimes it is a timing thing, and sometimes, sometimes it just purely is a timing thing. I remember pile number 1, I was in like a 3-year period where nothing was really happening, and no matter what I did, I would go out on dates, whatever, but nothing was really sticking. And sometimes that just happens in life. We go through time periods like that, and it can feel very frustrating. But let's go ahead and take a look. Pile number 1, let's look at your oracle cards. We have Sun, Chiron. Okay, still feeling very hurt or wounded because of some things in your past. I feel like pile number 1, and this is from this amazing deck called Listen Bitch, which I love, and it says, listen bitch, everything you need to get done is already inside of you. Everything you need to get it done is already inside of you, whether that's healing, closing old chapters of your life, letting go of feelings of like not feeling good enough or not feeling worthy of something. And Spirit just saying here, everything you need to get it done is already inside of you, okay? We have denial, detach with love to clearly see the truth. Forgiveness, forgiving yourself or another will help you move forward, okay? And perhaps maybe in the past, pile number 1, you stayed interested or attracted or involved in relationships where you were in a lot of denial and you withheld the truth from yourself and you didn't want to see the truth in a particular situation, pile number 1. And I do feel like with Sun Chiron here, some of you having some wounds around worthiness and feeling worthy of the, self-confidence. I would also say with the Sun Chiron is also sometimes challenging, or just feeling like we can really show ourselves or really be proud of who we are. So pile number 1, in the past, perhaps you guys were really struggling with denial, and you stayed a little bit too long because you were wounded or closed off in the past, Sun Chiron, and now it's time to forgive yourself for any of those, old things that have been. And maybe I'm getting a feeling here that some of you may be, reality is painful. It sure is. Reality is a bitch and reality is painful, Sun Chiron, but it's a lot better than living in denial. And I think some of you here may be a little bit concerned that if you fall really hard or really deeply, that you'll go back into that denial space and you'll go back into, that old place where you're in kind of a space of denial and not really wanting to see the truth about someone. And that can be very scary, going back into a place of like rejecting reality and just choosing to see what we want to see. And I do feel like you guys have maybe struggled with this a little bit, pile number 1. And and Spirit just saying like you have done a lot of healing. Chiron also has to do with healing, and the Sun, of course, having to do with our individuality, with who we are, with being able to show ourselves to the world. I feel like you guys have already done a lot of individual healing, and perhaps, you've done like therapy, or you've done a lot of self-help, or you really committed to the process of, healing yourself. But it can be intimidating jumping back into a place of vulnerability where our wounds can come up again and we can find ourselves in denial again. So perhaps some of you feel a little shaky about that. I would also say with Sun Chiron, because the Sun represents father, like in astrology, the Sun has to do with like, just on like a mass level, like a significator. The Sun is a significator for father, authority, it's a significator for like our individual will and our individual spirit. And perhaps some of you here had very wounding relationships with your father, or you had very challenging relationships with authority figures, or where you felt like your self-esteem was really, was really tough. It was a really tough issue from a self-esteem perspective, okay? Let's see what else we have here. We have hummingbird spirit, be here now. And that's something that I feel like you guys focus on. And I feel like with hummingbird spirit, it's like, let's focus on where we are right now. And, everything you need to get it done is already inside of you. So you don't have to go looking for outside sources to heal you. Like, you are actually healing, and you have been healing for some time now. And instead of like living in the past or thinking about the past, or being in denial about the past, or not forgiving yourself because of the past, the hummingbird spirit coming through here is saying, be here now. Yeah, and maybe some of you here, you would talk about your past pains a lot, or maybe like in new relationships, you would talk about the way that you'd been hurt in prior relationships, or whenever you started a new relationship, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna be, it's just gonna be the same thing, and you bring it up again, because with this hummingbird spirit, I feel like there's something with communication where it's saying, if you are getting to know people or you are getting to talk to new people in your life, definitely not a time to like keep bringing up the past or keep mentioning the past. Or perhaps you've been around and dated a lot of wounded people who kept bringing up the past over and over and over again and would never forgive you if you did anything wrong. And yeah, so I just feel like it's like be here now, be in the present moment, and be here now. And this is card 34. So perhaps some of you are in your 30s or early 30s. We have here Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? Yes, everything you need to get it done as far as finding love is already within you, and you already have like an extreme amount of wisdom, I feel, pile number one. And maybe it's time for you to like step up to the plate and take some ownership over your love life and take some responsibility and ownership over your love life and say, if I want things to change, then I know I have to keep working on my healing journey. I need to keep myself here in the present moment. I need to work on vulnerability in my sacral chakra. I feel like you guys are very intuitive here with this priestess energy coming up. And perhaps you guys will be a teacher to others in some way when it comes to relationship issues. And yeah, I also see like 2 lion heads right here. So perhaps some of you have Leo in your chart. And I feel like you're strong though. What I'm getting here, pile number one, is that you're strong. You're a strong leader and you're strong, like mentally strong. And I'm seeing the snake kind of on her head right here, like getting ready to crawl down the front of her face, which tells me, well, first of all, I'm like double snake eyes over here, pile number one, but I also see like you guys, like your mind is really been transformed when it comes to how you think about relationships, what you say and what you do in relationships. And maybe in the past, some people have been intimidated by your power in relationships, or maybe you've been intimidated to show your power in relationships. But your ability to have love relationships in your life, like moving forward, involves you being the leader and being the, you're being called to step up and lead. And I do feel like you guys have changed your mind about something, is what I'm getting here. Perhaps some of you have Mercury, Pluto, very heavy in your chart, like a conjunction, opposition, trine, but you have the power to change people's minds, I feel like, with the things that you say and do. And you have a very powerful voice and all the wisdom that you need in order to show up fully is within you. Okay. And yeah, ask and you shall receive is what I feel here, pile number one. And I like the horse because you guys chose horse again here for the letter H, or horse. And I like the horse because the horse symbolizes like a wild, unbroken freedom, I feel like. Plus horses are just extremely emotionally intelligent as well. If you've ever looked into the eyes of a horse before, you can literally, you feel like they understand you. And some of you here could have some very captivating eyes. And with priestess, it's really important that we're honest with ourselves and see things for what they truly are. We have as above, so below. That's so funny because I said ask and you shall receive a few minutes ago. And It says the spiritual realm can be affected by what you do here in the physical world. And so when we're living in denial and we're not seeing the truth about a situation, that can impact the spiritual world as well. As above, so below. So it doesn't just mean that the spiritual world has control over us and is dictating everything, and it means that, we are also impacting. It works both ways, and I actually feel like this has to do with your relationships as well. Like what you feel within you and what you have going on within you is also being seen in your partner. And sometimes we can kind of get lost in those projections and turn away from them and say, oh, that's not me. I'm not like that, right? But oftentimes partnerships are a really good window into like where we are in our lives at that moment and what we truly think about ourselves. Okay, so that's interesting. We have here discipline. Exert authority. Yeah, how are you being called to step up and lead? Exert authority. Define. It's time to take the bull by the horns. I love that. Create a strategy. Mobilize forces. Okay, that is very good. I like that energy because Spirit is saying it's up to you to be in the present moment. It's up to you to take what you've learned and implement it. And as far as a strategy for your dating life, you do need to have like a strategy for like, how do I want to try to meet a person? And I feel like with this Seven of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, perhaps the strategy that you've been going about hasn't been like the best strategy. And I do feel like timing could have been off or wrong. And perhaps in prior relationships, both you and the other person were very busy with work and things that you had to get done, and you didn't have a lot of time to kind of like devote to each other or devote to the relationship. But it's interesting because this Seven of Pentacles says vision on it. And Seven of Pentacles could be where we're lacking the vision. We're lacking a strategy. We're lacking, and here's the thing. I feel like you guys are very much flowy. Pile number one with this Priestess energy. Like you do like to flow and you don't want anything, you want it to be organic and you don't want anything to be too contrived. Like, if I'm meant to meet this person, they will come across my path. And while I really respect that and I like that energy, I also feel like, Spirit is saying, give us a hand here as well, because we are going to, as above, so below, we are going to put what you need on your path. But at the same time, what you do in the physical world impacts the spiritual world. So I feel like your guide's kind of coming through strongly here and saying, hey, like, you need a new strategy, or you need to think about things differently, or you need to like change your mind with regard to how you're seeing things and how you're doing things. And it's time to take the bull by the horns, and you want to create a strategy to help you move forward. Mobilize forces and create a strategy. And the number 7 is showing up multiple times in this reading. Perhaps you guys like the number 7. We have this number 7 card here, and this discipline card is also number 7 as well. And discipline does have to do with focus and determination and having like, a lot of people say there's no rhyme or reason to things. But when it comes to your love life, I do feel like you need to have like a rhyme or a reason. You know what I mean? And yes. So Spirit is saying, and Spirit is not like denying you. Some of you may be a little bit mad sometimes because it's like, well, I feel like Spirit is just denying me here my ability to like to introduce me to someone, or to like my guides to like put someone on my path. And it's like, okay, forgiving yourself or another person will help you move forward, and staying very disciplined with your thoughts and coming up with a strategy is ultimately what's going to help you in your love life. Okay. We have here the moon in Aries, courage, pile number 1. It says, believe in yourself. And Sun Chiron can definitely be where, and you know what I'm getting with this moon in Aries, because Aries is like, be here now in the present moment, and so it takes courage to live in the present moment. And, moon in Aries is also like admitting your feelings to someone too. Okay. It's also like, let me go ahead and also like being the first to do something while everyone else is still hanging back, and you just deciding like, I'm going to go ahead and go for it. And, moon in Aries is also like not being afraid of sharing your feelings, owning your feelings, acting on what you feel, acting on your instincts, acting on. And the only way we can really do that, like if we're just forever like cocooning ourselves and saving ourselves for something in the, distant future, like it's not gonna, it doesn't, it's hard to move something forward in that energy, pile number 1. And so I feel like with this moon in Aries, it's like, okay, you got to take and maybe perhaps look at the monthly moon cycle and look at when the moon is in Aries. And any astrology app can tell you that. You can go online and find, what sign the moon is currently in, and, where the moon currently is tracking. So you can look that up really at any point. But perhaps moon in Aries time, like, and the moon is in Aries, like for a couple days every month. The moon changes signs every like 2.5 days. So maybe find the time where the moon's in Aries, because I actually think that could be a good time for you guys to like do something different, or to get out, or to go on a date, or to take like some brave actions in your love life, such as like asking someone out, or, like going someplace new that you've never gone before, like a singles event or a dating event, or just trying something different. And everyone's like, oh, I don't want to do the online dating apps, like they suck, and I get that. But there's also like, singles meetups, and there is like, speed dating events and things like that. Go to a speed dating event during the time when the moon is in Aries, pile number 1. Go for it, my babies, okay? Because I want to see you guys get laid. I want to see you guys have some fun, okay? And I want to see you guys come on, get happy now, pile number 1, okay? And nothing will put you in the mood to be in the present moment like moon in Aries. It's like, what are we doing? Where are we going? And what's happening? And courage, right? Courage, bravery, power, strength. And, perhaps in the past, there was many times with this Sun Chiron, pile number 1, where you didn't believe in yourself, or the people in your life, like didn't have a lot of faith in you. Or maybe perhaps in the past you like let yourself down because you felt like you didn't like step out, or you were lacking in courage to kind of do something. And, that's okay. That's fine. If that happened in the past, pile number 1, that's the past. Time to let it go. Time to move on. Be here now. Like the person that you were 7 years ago is no longer the person that you are now. And I see the number 7 here because it keeps coming up in this reading. And so it's like, be here now, be courageous, believe in yourself, do something to get out there, put yourself out there. Like if you do have an inkling to like say something or reveal your feelings or try something new, like go for it. And take advantage, like when the moon's in Aries, take advantage of that time. Because it's going to be a time when more people are acting like more boldly. And so, conversations may be struck up more easily, or people may be feeling more fiery or more willing to kind of like put themselves out there when the moon is in Aries. So that is a good like little magical timing technique for you there, pile number one, to really, you know, perhaps when the moon is in Aries, you guys are going to be like fired up to go and do something, which I think is good, you know, or schedule a date when the moon's in Aries. Because I feel like it could be a good time for you. It's like, okay, let's go do something fun. Let's get out of the house. Let's go on a little adventure together, okay? It's all healthy and it's all love is what I'm getting at this point, pile number one. And actually, I feel some of you are actually in a space where you are letting go of the old shit. And I feel some of you in this pile are more ready than ever to meet someone because you have done the inner work and the inner healing. And you have been focusing on being here in the present moment. So good job, pile number one. Good job. Keep it up, okay? Keep it up. And if something is feeling frustrating or feeling like it's taking a long time, sometimes we have to develop a little patience. For those of you that have planets in Aries or you have moon in Aries, like, you know, there can be a little lack of being patient or kind of getting frustrated with something right away. And it reminds me of my boyfriend who's like looking for a job in a new field right now. And he's only been looking for like a week, but he's like, I should just give up, you know? And I'm like, no, you've only been looking for a week. You have to keep, you know, you have to keep going. Like you've only been looking for a week. And I know it's frustrating and I know it's hard, but you gotta keep going. Like you put too much into it. And I kind of feel like this sort of applies to you guys too. Like you put way too much into your healing and way too much into becoming the person that you are today. Like to give up now would just be kind of like, it'd be silly, okay? Ooh, the Star card, inspiration. 6 of Pentacles, kindness. Oh, I love that. And we have here the 6 of Cups, the past. Wow, interesting. And you know, perhaps there's some, you know, we can really get because the negative experiences of our past tend to really overwhelm us and they tend to be like the main things that we think about because we're like constantly always trying to overcome that. But actually, I feel like Spirit is telling you to find inspiration to go out and like date and prepare yourself for a date. Or if you're going to talk to someone new, a way to prepare yourself for that mentally with the Star card is to think about and meditate on times in the past when, you know, somebody did make a kind gesture towards you, or when you actually had a really nice date with someone, or you actually were really proud of yourself on a date because you did really well and you felt like you were yourself and you also had really good boundaries and you did a good job, you know, like meditation with the Star card as a way, you know, and thinking about things in the past that actually were nice and actually were kind and actually felt like simple and easy. The Star card can be like, sometimes we can really overcomplicate things. And it's like, I just want to think about like, what are the people also too, if you're like, well, I'm not very inspired, you know, to like date people because a lot of people are just very frustrating. They're very hurtful. And we spend a lot of times thinking about those old feelings and old situations, old patterns. But I kind of just feel like Spirit is saying, if you do want to like meditate on something from the past, then think about the good moments that you had when you like really surprised yourself, or, you know, even if you didn't end up going out with that person like long term, or it didn't turn into, here's the thing, pile number one, I feel like people, unless something turns out to being like the fairy tale, or, oh, we married and even when people get married, things are not guaranteed, you know, like there's miserable marriages out there. But like, you know, I feel like people are saying, well, I've never been happy in love, quote unquote, never been happy in love, because like everything I've done is like turned to shit. And that's just kind of like discounting like everything that was good, you know, and about a situation. Now, it doesn't mean that you should go back to those old situations. And I think you guys are way beyond that anyway. But it just means like if you did have a really good date with someone and it was a good vibe, but let's say you didn't go out with them again, it's like just think about what made the date fun or good, or think about, you know, places that you like to go that are like very comfortable or nostalgic with the Six of Cups, and, you know, places where like you had really good dates in the past. Even if it didn't turn out to be the best relationship of your entire life, like, or it didn't go much of anywhere, like drawing on some more positive experiences if you are going to find inspiration is good, I think. Okay. And we as human beings, we have a way of like discounting an entire thing. And I'm not talking about situations of abuse and things like that, relationships like that, because that's a different thing. I'm just talking about relationships that run their course, and if they end up not being the be all end all, it's like, oh, that didn't count. It's like, no, that counted. Like, you went on a date with a nice person. I mean, maybe you guys were just like friends, or they were nice, but there wasn't like a lot of sexual attraction, but there was a nice friend or something that you made. Like, don't discount those experiences, because I feel like that was you, you know, being successful in the past in relationships. Oh, we have the King of Cups. This is what you guys are looking for, is what I feel, okay? And some of the biggest things I feel, qualities that you guys are looking for in a person is, you know, support, comfort, kindness, people who are very like, you know, maybe family oriented, people who are very creative, people who are very like generous and kind. With the Six of Pentacles, like people who really have their shit together financially, but also are very emotionally cheerful, joyful, kind, caring, like a caring parent, you know? And while you're not going to find, for those of you that had a very difficult parent in your life that really sucked the life out of you, obviously we shouldn't expect our partners to like reparent us, you know, that's not what they're here for. But at the same time, like meeting somebody who is very like, has all those like really positive qualities of somebody who is very supportive, loving, and caring. Okay. And, yeah. And perhaps you guys need some support from, you know, from friends and other people in your life too. And you just want to feel supported in the decisions that you're making. And that's what's going to inspire you, I feel, to make changes and to grow emotionally. Okay. And, like making beneficial changes in your life that support your growth, okay? Like your emotional growth. And yeah, I do feel like you guys want to meet someone who's sensitive and who is mature, and somebody who is like emotionally aware. And like, you know, and I honestly, you know what, pile number one, I feel some of you, for those of you that like to write or draw or have some type of artistic talent, or like a vision board or a dream board or something, I kind of feel like it might be kind of cool for you guys to do like a vision board or a dream board, or put the qualities of a person that you're looking for. And, you know, the King of Cups is a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And so you put like a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Maybe some of you, you're like, yeah, if I take some people from my past and I put a little bit of this and a little bit of that, then it would make like the perfect person, but that person hasn't come along yet. And I get it, pile number one, I do, but I also think it's good for you to kind of, you know, you could do that. You could do a vision board. You could put down the qualities and things that you're looking for in a person, someone who's caring and kind and generous and yeah, mature, humble, supportive of what you're trying to do in your life. Also, the King of Cups is a Pisces in the tarot, so perhaps some of you are, have been with Pisces in the past, or you're a Pisces, or you have that in your chart. We also have Aquarius with the star card, so we could have Aquarius and Pisces here. But yeah, if you're like, yeah, I've always had good vibes with Pisces, or I haven't tried dating one before, maybe I would have a good vibe with them. I don't know. So I think it's good to kind of look at it from all these different angles. Also, I feel like you guys could meet somebody who's an artist, who's very creative, and somebody who's very sensitive as well. So pile number 1, that is what I am giving you here. And I do feel like you guys have someone in your life that's going to come up with an open heart and somebody who's very kind and generous. 6 of Pentacles, somebody who has a very open heart and a lot to give emotionally. 6 of Cups, and someone who's very supportive of what, your goals are in the future. Pile number 1. So that is what I am getting for you guys. Perhaps this reading inspired you with the star card. I hope it inspired you to kind of think about your love life in a different way and maybe try some different things when it comes to your love life. So that is what I am getting, my lovelies. I hope you enjoyed pile number 1. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and your feedback. Let's move on to pile number 2, actually, not 3, but 2. All right. Okay. Pile number 2, welcome to your reading. You chose the cat, and today's reading is called What is Blocking Love in Your Life from Coming Through Right Now? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. This was a subscriber request, and I love to do these every once in a while. If you ever have thoughts, ideas, feedback, you can always leave it in the description box or in the comment boxes below. So let's go ahead and get into it for my gorgeous, beautiful pile number 2s. Let's go and ask, what is blocking the free flow of love into pile number 2's life right now? What is blocking love for pile number 2, please? What is blocking love for pile number 2? Okay. I just got 3 names, Deborah, Jenna, and Carissa. Maybe you guys know someone with that name. DJC, maybe those are initials, but anyway, Spirit just gave me those names. I also got Deanna, or D names. Let's go ahead and get into it and show me what is blocking the free flow, if I can talk today, of love. I almost said free throw, or like basketball games, like free throw or three throw, whatever those things are called. Anyway, pile number 2, you can tell I know a lot about sports. Here is the 4 of Cups on the bottom of the deck here in pile number 2. And it's not like you're not beautiful. It's not like you don't have options, pile number 2, but there's a level of disinterest, I feel, at this point. It's like I see love coming and I'm like, what do you want? And I run away. And, oh yeah. And I feel like you guys are kind of saying, hey, I'm sick of feeling this way. Like I am in a funk about love, but I really don't know where it's coming from. But I do feel kind of like in a funk. And perhaps some of you guys have also been feeling a little bloated as well, or you're like feeling like water weight or something like that is also what I'm getting, or you feel like your emotions are a little bit blocked up. So pile number 3, let's go ahead, or pile number 2, let's go ahead and look at your oracle cards first, okay? We have Mars. Oh my gosh. 2. Okay. For those of you that like men, I feel there could be at least 2 men here that like you or want you, or perhaps there's, 2 people here. And for those of you that don't like men, then, Mars does have to do with sexuality and like going after somebody. Venus is about like come hither and attracting, and Mars is like pushing, kind of like people pushing themselves on you a little bit. And perhaps you guys, there is a couple people that are interested in you, but you're just not having it, or you're just not with it. And I am seeing the number 8 here, which also tells me somebody's birthday could be in August or on the 8th of a month, or add up to the number 8, like the 26th of the month or something, okay? I'm also seeing the number 6 and the letter N here, pile number 2. And I do feel like there is somebody that's trying to kiss you or get to know you or talk to you, or I do see a guy here as well with a very like pronounced nose with a lot of hair, or like messy hair, or wears it kind of messy on the top. Okay, so perhaps some of you, know who that is, or you've got an idea of what I'm talking about. This person looks like they're wearing a black shirt. I know that's not that descriptive, but I'm also seeing like a black turtleneck, okay? But anyway, so that is what I am seeing here. And I feel like you guys are like, yeah, I know who these 2 people are. They're like, they're pigs, or they suck, or I don't like them, or I'm not into them. So anyway, pile number 2, starting off strong. I like it. Pile number 2, 2 people. There we go. Let's do it. This is from the beautiful Listen Bitch deck, which I love. It says, listen, bitch, tell the negative assholes in your head to sit in a corner for a lifelong time out. Oh my God, that is hilarious. Pile number 2, instead of asking what is wrong with you and what's happening with you, I clearly, it's so funny here with these 2 Mars here, like aggressive assholes. Tell the negative assholes in your head, so maybe 2 people from your past, or 2 people who are really hurtful to you, or made you feel really bad about yourself, or kind of put you in a funk, is what I'm getting with the 4 of Cups. Like, tell the negative assholes in your head to sit in a corner for a lifelong time out. Ooh, that is sassy, pile number 2. That is deeply sassy. I love that, okay? Let's see what else we have here. We have twin flame. This is a divine counterpart connection. Okay, well, I mean, maybe at this point you guys are rolling your eyes at the twin flame thing, and I wouldn't blame you if you are, because I do think that it gets way overused, it gets way overplayed, and, I don't care who someone is. I don't care if they are literally the second coming of Christ. If they treat you like shit, then it doesn't count, and they're not the one, And that's me. I speak very passionately and fiery on that issue, because I see people putting themselves like waiting, and putting themselves like emotionally in the hole, putting themselves in a place of like non-action, kind of stuck in their emotions, waiting for something to kind of pour out of another person that is just like a negative asshole or a user, like this card says. So pile number 2, perhaps some of you are really thinking about this logically at this point, and are thinking, it's not worth it for me to like stay stuck, waiting, wishing, waiting. All right. Sitting, wishing, waiting. Now it says fate. This is a destined partnership. This is a divine counterpart connection, twin flame. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing, again, I get it. I get fate. I get all of that, pile number 2, but let's get more into your reading and see what is actually going on, because the thing of the matter is in life is we need people. Sometimes the twin flame thing, I think, can be more about disassociation or fearing rejection. Look, rejection on the bottom of the deck here. So we just kind of stay stuck emotionally because like in a space of wanting or needing something, because rather than like go directly to something else, we kind of like fear the rejection. Perhaps some of you here with this Four of Cups, like you have dealt with a lot of rejection. So maybe it feels safer, with the Four of Cups. Sometimes when we've been dealt with a lot of rejection, it feels safer to kind of like have crushes on people from afar, or to kind of, wish for like emotionally invest in people from like afar. Do you know what I'm saying, pile number 2? So let's go ahead and see what else we have here. We have Sandpiper Spirit, be playful. Okay. And you guys are coming through as the Four of Cups. So perhaps the last thing you want to do right now is be playful, and you're not feeling very playful. And perhaps you feel like you've been with a couple of players here with these two Mars. Like, I have been around a lot of players, or, a couple of people that I dated were big time players. And I thought that they were, my destined partners. I thought that it was fate that I met them. I thought that it was a real and true thing. And, but those people were almost too playful in the sense that they could have been real players, pile number 2. And I feel like you guys are kind of saying to me now, Natalie, I don't need any more reminders about how this situation sucks. And I get it, pile number 2. I really, really do. And, the Four of Cups is about being like emotionally sensitive. So perhaps, it is a Moon and Cancer card. So perhaps you are feeling very emotionally sensitive right now, and you're feeling so sensitive that you don't want to take a lot of, sometimes we kind of withdraw and disassociate when we've sort of had enough. So I get it, pile number 2. But it says Pillar of Light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. Aw, yeah, pile number 2. I love to see it. I really, really do. And I like that there's a tiger on this card here too, talking about putting these negative assholes in a lifelong timeout. And, you guys are doing Christina Aguilera right now, where she's like, it's about time for my arrival. I can't sing, but you guys know what I mean. It's about time for my arrival. Gonna get rowdy, gonna get da-da. Yeah, so I kind of feel like this with this Pillar of Light. Your vibration is rising. And this is coming out under the putting the negative assholes in the corner for a lifelong timeout. Like that actually increases your vibration, and it makes you more playful. And it makes you, because I kind of feel like you guys have been kind of drowning in it a little bit here with the Four of Cups. And, taking aggressive, negative assholes and putting them in their lifelong corner actually does make you feel like sassy, playful. You start to feel more like yourself again, and you start to feel like, here I am, like, it's about time for my arrival, like the sun shining down on you, the attention shining on you, pile number 2. Okay. And, yeah, so I love that, like a pillar of light coming around you to protect you and showing you, your, like, it is time for your vibration to raise. And maybe that's something that you guys have been dealing with. It's like, I don't feel like raising my vibration, Natalie. Like, I'm sad, I'm lonely, I'm depressed about something, and I get it, And under the Four of Cups is the Four of Pentacles. So it's like, I don't really like, block. I don't really want, I'm blocking. My emotions are churning underneath the surface, and I'm kind of like blocking things out. And also, you know, a sense of needing to feel safe and needing to feel, you know, before you can be vulnerable and opening up to people again, needing to feel like safe emotionally is what I'm getting here. Pile number 2, okay? Totally get it. We have karma, okay, and this is coming out under this twin flame and fate energy here. Karma, past life karma hinders your growth in this lifetime. Now, this is what I feel you guys are thinking in this 4 of Cups. It's like, I have bad relationship karma from the past, and it's hindering my growth in this lifetime. Now, here's what I'm going to say. I do feel like there is a place where spirituality, tarot readings, this type of thing, they can become really toxic. It's 222 on my clock right now. See pile number 2? Look at that, 222. I feel like it's always 222 in pile number 2. Look at my clock. Anyway, so you guys saw that. So I feel like, you know, spirituality, karma, you know, all that stuff is great, but honestly, I feel like it takes us a lifetime to truly sometimes understand our karma, where we're coming from, you know, what our issues are, what we have to deal with. And sometimes we can damn ourselves or like doom ourselves because it's like, well, you know, I guess I messed up in a past life or something. I guess that's why I'm always dealing with rejection or dealing with these shitheads or, you know, this type of thing. And, you know, and it can feel like karma is really against us or like we're working against the karmic wheel or, you know, and I do feel like, now I believe in past lives, pile number 2, I really do. But I also feel like people can be very toxic about that and can be very toxic about the twin flame journey and fate. And, you know, it gets a little old is all I'm going to say about all that stuff. And the thing about it is that it's very heavy too. And it's really weighty and it's really, really heavy. And so perhaps some of you have been feeling like waterlogged, or you've been feeling very heavy in your emotions, or you've just had some really, like, you feel like you've had some very negative experiences with relationships, and like maybe you've had multiple situations happen one after another with this Mars energy, that it's completely like, you know, made you feel like I don't have any energy to be playful. I don't have any energy to do this anymore. And I just feel like this heaviness is over me, you know? And is it my karma in life always to be like chasing a twin flame or chasing something? And pile number 2, let me just say it's not. Like, that is not your fate, and that isn't the karma that you need to live out for your life, okay? And this is heavy stuff right here, and I get it. And I also feel like this whole thing right here, see where I'm pointing my wand, pile number 2, this whole little area right here is what's blocking your love life. And, you know, twin flame, fate, karma, all that. But I think it's really important, like, you know, Spirit is saying, raise your vibration, be playful, tell the negative assholes in your life to go sit in a corner and shut the hell up. Like, you know, these are some things that will help unblock this energy. But I also feel like if this is getting very, very heavy with the karma and the fate and all of that, you know, sometimes we have to kind of like, you know, laugh at things at life a little bit. Sometimes we have to, and I'm not saying that you haven't had some very heavy experiences in relationships. And I definitely want to honor you in that pile number 2, and the fact that I think you have had some very heavy experiences in relationship. But if it's like, I give up and this is my karma and this is what I'm doomed to repeat, then, you know, we can kind of sit in those cycles for a long time. And so I just want to, you know, acknowledge that. And, basically help make things lighter for you, because we have this pillar of light and we have be playful here. So it's like where we get to kind of like play with, and maybe you guys feel like people have played with your emotions, or that, because you are very sensitive, or you are highly sensitive, Four of Cups, that, things have really played with your emotions. If you watch a tarot reading about somebody that you like and you get like a negative thing and all of a sudden it brings your energy crashing down to zero, like that is probably something to avoid, and I know you're in a tarot reading right now, but I'm just saying, if you're finding those energy crashes, high and low, I do feel like it, that really does affect our vibration, because everything's energy, everything's a vibration, right? That can really affect our energy. And again, I'm not talking about, bullshit manifestation culture where it's like, just put on a smiley face and walk around, I'm not talking about that, but I am talking about like sitting in our shit for like a long time, like with the Four of Cups. And you can see here, like the water is basically like waist level up to her. And it's like, okay, I've been sitting in these feelings for a while and they haven't gone away. So that's really what I'm talking about, okay? We have the taming power of the great, self-discipline, concentration, strengthen your character from within, self-awareness, realizing potential, okay? And it can be really hard. Like if we've dealt with a lot of rejection with this Four of Cups and rejection, it can be really hard to, like concentrate and focus and bring, sometimes we'd just rather avoid, sometimes that energy can turn us into avoidance in a way. And I know I was a lot of us are avoidance pile number 2. I genuinely know, definitely not trying to attack you on that, but I'm just saying these things because I'm getting the sense that there's some sensitivity, people watching this video. But I just want you to know, like, your self-discipline is paying off. If you've been meditating, if you've been working on energetically healing, if you've been working on concentrating and focusing on grounding your energy, focusing on your root chakra, strengthening your character from within, self-awareness, okay? Self-awareness of, instead of just kind of like getting lost in our emotions and just kind of like, and I've done this myself a million times. I mean, I'm a moon in Cancer, pile number 2. So, I mean, I get really moody and emotional sometimes too, but it can talk about like realizing when we're getting into those spaces emotionally and becoming self-aware of when we're kind of like drifting or avoiding or disassociating, like becoming more self-aware and conscious during those periods will help you realize your potential. And it doesn't mean that, those periods are just gonna like fade away and fall off the planet, and never come back to you. It just means like becoming, more aware and realizing, realizing the potential in your experiences, and realizing that potential for greatness when it comes to love is there for you. And it has to do with raising your vibration. It has to do with self-discipline, concentration, and strengthening your character from within, and also being more playful in your life too, okay? Those things are gonna help you overcome this stuff right here. We have here, there it is, Cancer. What I've been talking about the whole time, pile number 2. Would you look at that? We have an eclipse in Cancer, and this is card 26 and this is card 28. So perhaps some of you are around that age, or like the next coming 2 years are going to be really important for you guys as far as emotional development and as far as self-awareness of your emotions and your patterns and realizing your potential. Okay, and this says an emotional phase or domestic development eclipse in Cancer. Okay, an emotional phase. And perhaps some of you have really been going through an emotional phase. Like, it's felt, look at all the water surrounding here. It's like, ooh, and I mean, I love water energy, but sometimes it really like can kind of chip away at our clarity. Like, emotions are great, and I feel we should trust our emotions. We're not always going to act on them. We should trust who we are and what we're feeling, but realizing that our emotions can change, they can go up and down, that you've been in a very emotional phase and it's felt really intense is what I feel. Pile number 2, you're coming from a very emotional place there, and accepting yourself, like, I am an emotional being, I am coming from an emotional place, and that's fine. And maybe some of you get very attached easily, or you used to, but because you've been rejected, now you don't as much get attached as easily. But I think also thinking about like your emotions, your attachment style, accepting that certain phases of life are over or have, kind of left your life is something that, requires a lot of self-awareness, I feel. And you can actually see they're holding hands right here. And she has, she has a ring on her finger. These two are holding hands. And then there's a house. And perhaps some of you are really wanting to get married and have a house with someone and, and have all that. But it talks about here, it talks about what it's needed in order to gain that. Like, I accept where I am emotionally, and I am not trying to reject what I'm feeling, and I'm not trying to block out what I'm feeling, but I also understand what I'm feeling is going to pass, okay? So I think that's a big thing here with this eclipse in Cancer, and acceptance and finding that emotional acceptance. And perhaps some of you feel like I'm too emotional for other people, like I'm too heavy or I'm too emotional for others. And there is something to be said, like, I'm pile number 2, like when we're getting to know someone, it should be like really active and fun and playful, and getting to like try different things and do different things, and talking to maybe 1 or 2 people, like when you're dating, and taking a more playful perspective with things may actually be really good for you guys. And just having that self-awareness about where you are standing emotionally, and how like mindsets, beliefs, etc., especially, twin flame, fate, karma, all that, like how that is, being very self-aware of how that is affecting you emotionally is something that's coming up here, okay? And let's see what else we have. We have the 5 of Cups. We have the 10 of Cups. Oh my gosh. We have, it's very, ooh, wow. We have the Moon. This is all water. This is all water energy. Pile number 2, very sensitive, very psychic, very emotional. Wow, 3 of Cups. Oh my goodness. Okay. And, there's something here where it's like, I feel like I can't get what I want. And so I'm just constantly like withdrawing or kind of like disappearing back into myself. Pile number 2, do you deal with that sometimes? Or are you just feeling like exhausted? Like, I can't take this anymore. Like, this is too much emotionally. Okay. And, here's the thing is there could be with the 5 of Cups and the 10 of Cups, there could really be some, high highs and low lows in a particular relationship. And for me, pile number 2, I'm more about the 3 of Cups. I'm more about like, instead of, oh my God, this is my soulmate, this is my person, this is the person I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. 10 of Cups, which, I mean, I love the 10 of Cups, but you know, when we're getting to know someone, I feel like the 3 of Cups is definitely like more playful. And I feel like a lot of you here too could keep your emotions private, or you want to keep your emotions private from the person that you're seeing or talking to, because you don't want to show that, maybe that emotional intensity at times, pile number 2. But I also kind of feel like there's really, really high highs, and then there's really, really low lows with the 10 of Cups and the 5 of Cups. There's like, we see into each other's souls, like we're becoming one, like, you know, this feels like it's reinvigorating my soul. And then there's like the lowest of the low. I feel like I'm alone. I feel like there's nothing left. I feel like without this relationship, like there's nothing left within me. Even though, like, I feel like sometimes during our greatest, and this is the thing that sucks about being a human, like sometimes our greatest moments of self-awareness come during extreme moments of pain. If we can just stick with the feeling, and we've got the strength to kind of like, you know, if we can just stick with the feeling and realize like some of our greatest lessons, and we really get to know ourselves through pain. Now, I know that that really blows, pile number 2. I know it does. But there's like, you know, the fantasy of the fairy tale, the 10 of Cups. And then there's like the 5 of Cups, like the crushing, you know, draining feeling of there's nothing left anymore, you know, and I've been discarded, I've been betrayed, and no doubt, like you definitely have been through some of those experiences, and perhaps at times you don't want to show, like with the moon here, you don't want to show other people like what you're thinking or what you're feeling, but perhaps some of you have friends that know, that are like, you know, you've been in a funk and I don't want you to stay in this funk because it's not good for you. Like, let's go out, let's do something, let's be playful, let's have fun. And perhaps that's a good place to start. Pile number 2 is, you know, maybe talking to friends or going out with a friend or talking to somebody who really supports you, and, you know, going out and do something fun and active that's like playful, you know. And with Mars here, like sports or moving your body or doing something to kind of burn off some of that energy and to like be playful, okay? And if there are like old emotional patterns and old feelings from the past, like replaying themselves over and over and over in your head, tell the negative assholes in your life to sit in the corner and to figure it out on their own without you there, you know? And here's the thing is, I feel it takes you guys maybe a bit more time to feel really at home with someone. So when you do feel secure and safe and at home with someone, you really put everything into it. You put all your emotions and everything into it. And so when the bottom falls out, it's like everything is gone, everything is missing. Now, this is a very like emotional pattern, but I think it's also because I see the sun really big actually here in the back of the 5 of Cups. It's like not everything is gone. You're still here, and who you are is still here. And who you are as a person, oftentimes for human beings, who we are as a person often really comes through during times of great pain and suffering, unfortunately, as human beings. But like who we really are really starts to shine through, and we really start to see, you know, our character. We really start to focus more on ourselves. Like some of my greatest growth periods were actually when relationships ended, pile number 2. Now, I'm not saying you have to do your life like me or anything. I'm just giving you an example and saying, you know, yeah, like I would go through a painful breakup. It sucked. It was horrible. I felt gross. I felt empty inside. But then on the other side of it just came like this huge opening, both spiritually, emotionally, mentally. everything. So stay open to, you know, feelings changing, feelings morphing into different things, because you are in a very emotional phase of your life. You are a very emotionally aware channel right now. Maybe you have been for your entire life, but you're just kind of like sick of it. And perhaps some of you in this pile are highly sensitive, HSP, empaths, highly sensitive. You know, and sometimes maybe you do need some time to decompress and rest from all the emotions going on around you, but do understand that you are a pillar of life. And as your vibration is rising, as you're becoming more playful and active and physical and moving your body and doing different things, as you're focusing on your own character and strength from within, and your self-awareness is growing, those are the things that bring in love into your life. And if you've been really struggling, you know, with some spiritual beliefs that you feel like are really bringing you down, take this reading as a sign that, you know, maybe there is some things that are wrapped up in that are not serving you right now. Okay, pile number 2. So that is what I am getting for you, my loves. I hope that this reading resonated for you, and I hope that it made you feel a little bit better. I know it was, you know, you can always count on Natalie H to bring you guys like the brutal truth of things, but you know how it goes, pile number 2. You know how it goes. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, your feedback. Thank you so much, my loves, and take care. Let's move on to pile number 3. Let's go ahead. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the unicorn, and today's reading is called What's Blocking Love from Coming into Your Life? This was a requested reading. Thank you for that so much. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. As I was going to say to you guys, like, welcome to your reading, pile number 3. I was also going to say, welcome to your love life, pile number 3. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's do it. Spirits, angels, and guides, please connect me to the energy here for my pile number 3s who come here with an open heart, open mind, seeking your guidance. Thank you for allowing me to be the medium in the channel between yourself and pile number 3. Pile number 3, it's hot in here. I don't know why the temperature just like really went up, but I'm feeling warm. Feeling warm and bubbly. Let's get into it. What is blocking love for pile number 3 right now? Almost. What is blocking love for, there it was, pile number 3. Okay. Ooh, we've got the King of Cups on the bottom of the deck. That's so interesting. The King of Cups also appeared in pile number 1. So maybe there literally is a person in your life that is, you feel like is blocking love from coming into your life, pile number 3. But we're going to find out more information about this King of Cups. Perhaps there's somebody here that there is like a, because I just shuffled this deck, looked at the bottom of it, it says passion. So perhaps there is, you know, a connection here that's very passionate, or you think could be very passionate, but something is blocking that connection, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm gonna do your oracle cards first, and we have Neptune. Oh boy, Neptune times 2. We be dreaming up in this pile number 3. You guys are my dreamers, my lovers, and my romantics. Talk about Neptune romances, okay? Very romantic souls here, pile number 3. Let's see. This is from the Listen Bitch deck, which I love. And it says, listen, bitch, you are worthy of everything good in this life. Everything. Dream big. Okay, pile number 3. We have go slow, take time to get to know each other. Aw, it's hard to do when, you know, you're in a connection with someone and you're both feeling like very open and very passionate and fiery and sexual. You know, the King of Cups represents the fiery part of water. So, I mean, there is passion, there is fire in the King of Cups. There is a lot of, you know, passionate sexual attraction, etc. And perhaps some of you guys just really go balls to the wall when you meet someone and you're like, yeah, you know, like, let's do it, let's go. Let's share in the experience, that type of energy. And perhaps there is a need. And also with Neptune, it's like somebody's on a pedestal. It's like, you're the greatest person in the world. No, you're the greatest person in the world. It's, oh my gosh, I met so-and-so. And we're just like, and we have everything the same. We have everything in common. Like, you know, I love at first sight. You know, we laid eyes on each other and it was like, yeah. And there's like this passion and fire. And, or maybe you guys are wanting to have that and it is going to come through for you, but Spirit just saying, take it a little bit slow, because we can definitely go overboard, you know, with the romanticizing and the fantasizing and the crushing and the, you know, galactic feelings of passion. Like, we can really go overboard with that sometimes and really like rush into things and be kind of like blinded by the romantic, you know, story, pile number 3 with Neptune here. So I actually feel like you guys are going to be meeting someone who's very into you, very passionate for you. And maybe you've already met this person, or you know who I'm talking about. It could be a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, okay, with the King of Cups here. Or perhaps you have that heavy in your chart, but it's like somebody clearly has feelings and clearly has passion for you, pile number 3, or will, and Spirit just reminding you, like, go slow, okay? Like, take it, you know, take it easy, all right? And try not to push it to the max right away, because that perhaps is something that is blocking your love life in general. Like, you guys get passionate, you get sexual, you get passionate, the other person can feel your passion and feel your energy, and it's like, okay, we're both feeling each other's energy, like this is crazy, and maybe it just goes from A to Z like really quick, or the sexual side goes very quickly too. And so Spirit just saying, you know, chill, pile number 3, easy pace, go slow, okay? We have here true love. Oh my goodness, go slow and true love. Of course, you know, when we're like in a rush to bond to somebody really quickly, or we're in a rush to get a commitment from someone very quickly, oftentimes that, you know, it looks good for like a few months or 6 months, but after that, it just kind of like blows up in a person's face, you know. Actually, the best things that are like long lasting are actually like built over time. And, I'm sure you guys know that, right? And maybe you guys have had a lot of passionate flings in your life, but you haven't found that one true love, or you haven't really like gone that deep with anyone before. I mean, I feel you guys have definitely felt the energy and the, you know, attraction and the, you know, high hormones and all of that. But you know, have you really truly been in love? And have you truly, like, you know, do your relationships have longevity as well? And, you know, we have to be careful with longevity, because longevity is tricky. Sometimes we just stay in a connection because it's comfortable or easy and we're not really challenging ourselves. And then in other times, our relationships can be like short and passionate and wild and like fantasy driven, but they're not really like developing over time, you know? So these are some things to think about as you're going out there in the world. Pile number 3, we have here koala spirit. Spirit has a plan. Oh my goodness. You guys are like, where's this person at? Where's it at? You know? And I love the koala spirit, because this koala looks like it's giving someone a hug or giving something a hug. And, you know, the King of Cups, very like demonstrative, very much about like physical touch, hugging, warm. I feel like somebody could come into your life, pile number 3, that runs very hot. Like when you sleep next to them, they're like, you know, it's like being next to a furnace. Perhaps you guys run very hot when you sleep at night too. But anyway, pile number 3, especially for those of you that have fire and water in your chart, both, yeah, that definitely is going to be a lot. But look at this, Neptune. Spirit's like, we have a plan for you. We're bringing you together with somebody who is really, you know, really amazing. Like there truly will be like an amazing spiritual connection here. And maybe you guys have been very disappointed by people in the past because they haven't like stuck around, or the relationship's been very flighty, or it hasn't been very committed, but there is passion. And I feel like Spirit is saying, hey, we have a plan, okay? And this is card 35. So perhaps some of you are like in your mid-30s, or you're thinking about a time when you were in your mid-30s and you fell in love, or where you want to be when you're 35, but that card is coming up. We have here, get grounded. Yes, empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. For those of you that are very, you know, channelers, intuitives, really emotional, passionate artists, right? The King of Cups with passion, artistic, out of control, creative folks in pile number 3. I'm also seeing the Buddha in the quarter there. So perhaps some of you are Buddhist, or you will be meeting somebody who, you know, is a Buddhist, or like a meditation coach or something like that, because I am seeing a spiritual partner here for you guys. And, you know, but also Spirit just saying, get grounded and go slow in your connections, because you are very highly attuned and highly sensitive and psychic and channelers, and you see through things, pile number 3, because you are the magical being that you are. You know, it's very easy to get caught up in a feeling, you know, like I'm caught in a feeling, or hooked on a feeling, and high in believing that you're in love with me. All right, pile number 3, I can't sing for shit, but you know, hooked on a feeling, high on a feeling that you're in love with me. Spirit just saying, get grounded, okay? Connect with nature, work on your root chakra, get grounded, okay? Go slow, go easy. You know, start off with a hug, or a simple hug, or a simple kiss. No need to go full on in, you know, oh, we're getting married tomorrow. Oh, this is everything. Oh my gosh, da 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 da, passion, passion, passion. And then what happened, right? Or, oh my gosh, this is my soulmate, this is da 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 da, right? Versus slow down, take it easy. As they say, love is patient, love is kind, right? What's that cheesy quote everyone has at their weddings? It's the whole Corinthians, right? Love is patient, love is kind. Anyway, there's probably something to that. The whole patience part really does make sense. And you think about it in the long run. You are worthy of everything good in this life, everything. Yep, and there's the little feather from Spirit there telling you to like get grounded, and, you know, there's no rush, is what I'm saying, pile number 3. And sometimes it's like, well, there is a rush. I'm 35 years old and I want to have a kid. There's a rush, you know? So I get it for those of you that are thinking of things like that. Or maybe you've been very impractical, Neptune, about your connections. Like you've been very impractical. Like, you know, he lives in, you know, like communist China, and I don't know, I'm just making something up. Or he lives in brutal dictatorial regime North Korea, and I live in Miami. It's gonna work out perfectly, you know, like, anyway, pile number 3, I'm giving you a really crazy example, but I'm just saying, like, we wanna be, you know, we wanna be realistic. We don't want it to kill the dream, but we want to be realistic. We want to go slow. We want to get grounded. There's no rush. You know, it's going to be there tomorrow. If it's worth your time, it's going to be there tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. And we have security. Wow, feeling secure in your environment. Confidence is key. I love that. And, you know, when we're really secure that somebody is there because they genuinely want to get to know us or they're giving us those vibes, it's much easier to go slow. But when we're feeling kind of like insecure, like I need to close the deal or this needs to happen now, that could indicate maybe that we're not feeling as secure. So Spirit just saying, take your time. Do you feel safe with someone? Like, is there passion? Is there chemistry? Of course, has to be there. But also, do you feel safe? Do you feel secure? Do you feel confident around that person? Perhaps some of you feel confident initially and rush in, and then it's like all the passion up front, all the confidence up front, but then it's kind of like that person pulls out or you pull out or something, and then it like fizzles out, you know? So just feeling like very secure in your environment is something that's going to help. So, you know, if you don't want to go over to someone's house right away, or you don't want them to come over to your place right away, then meet somewhere neutral in public where you feel safe and secure. You know, working on being confident in yourself. Like, I don't need to lock anything down immediately. I don't need to rush anything either. And taking things slow. You know, when people go slow in relationships and they take their time to let things develop, that actually does show confidence, because it's not about like, oh my gosh, they're perfect for each other in this idealized pedestal notion version of someone. It shows more confidence when we really go slow with something, okay? And also going slower, being confident in yourself and getting grounded is really important for you guys when you're working on finding love, okay? We have here the Wanderer, traveling, adventure, movement, coping with unfamiliarity, a pilgrimage, aloneness, broaden your horizons, okay? So honestly, pile number 3, I feel like Spirit is saying before you jump into any type of long-term, you know, passionate, connected relationship, Spirit wants you to wander a little bit, okay? And maybe some of you have been wandering a long time, and I get it. For those of you that are older and you're like, I've been wandering, you know, then it's time to focus on security and getting grounded and, you know, stabilizing. Maybe some of you here who are older, so I'm going to address the older crowd and then I'm going to address the younger crowd. Younger crowd, 40 and under, older crowd, 40 and up, okay? So if you're 40 and up and you've been wandering around for a long time and you've been doing travel and adventure and you've been living on your own or you've been doing your own thing for a long time and, you know, you're traveling a lot, you're very rarely home. I have a friend of mine who like travels constantly for work and, you know, she's a Sagittarius, she's a bit of a wanderer. And she loves it, you know, she really loves that. And that's amazing to have that spirit of like traveling and going places and doing things. But sometimes to have like and I'm just speaking right now freely, because sometimes to have like a really secure relationship, we kind of need to put down our roots somewhere eventually, right? Eventually. We kind of have to put our roots down somewhere with another person, and we kind of have to, you know, slow down a little bit from the wandering perhaps. Now, it's different if you're in a long distance relationship, and maybe some of you have had epic long distance relationships where the highs are really high, you know, Neptune, we're each other's dream, we're each other's fantasy. Okay, but there's also this need to, you know, really get grounded. If you're feeling like you're going too fast, stop, take a walk, connect with nature, be confident, be secure in yourself, go slow. And for my 40 plus wanderers who really want to settle down, if you've been wandering for a while, you know, keep wandering for, you know, by all means. But I kind of also feel like Spirit is saying, if you really want to find a partner, then it's gonna kind of require you to slow down a little bit and settle down a little bit and get grounded with where you're at or where you're going to move to. Or and then it's not like you can't meet a partner who would love to travel and do all those travels with you. You could definitely do that. But if you're trying to create a long-lasting relationship, it's like, okay, I've got to get grounded. I need to like come up with a plan here. Spirit has a plan. I need to feel secure with where I am, which means I'm not just going to randomly like move somewhere on a whim, which by the way, I've done myself. So, you know, kudos for not taking my own advice. But anyway, what I'm saying is go slow, take it easy, meet someone where you're currently living, and then, you know, broaden your perspective and travel and go from there. That's my advice, pile number 3. Otherwise, it's really hard to gain traction and footing somewhere. Now, for those of you that are under 40 and you have traveled a little bit or you haven't traveled a lot, but you'd like to, for those of you that are in your 20s, in your 30s, early 30s, even coming up to mid 30s, you're still in the young crowd, according to me, Natalie, who's doing this reading, who's 43. You're still in the young crowd. And what I have to say to you is, I feel like Spirit really wants you guys to wander more, you know, like Spirit wants you to travel more, wants you to get comfortable with, you know, adventure, movement, coping with unfamiliarity, being alone for a little bit. For those of you that have had relationships or you've always had someone that you've had a massive crush on, or you've had a relationship like back to back constantly, Spirit just saying, Spirit wants you to spend some time traveling, adventure, being on your own, coping with unfamiliarity, because all of this is going to create confidence. And eventually it's going to create more confidence and more experiences and more like self-reliant, powerful experiences, pile number 3. Eventually you're going to settle on a particular place to be, and you're going to meet someone there after that. So for those of you that are like, yeah, I do want to travel. Yeah, I do want to go more places. Please do that. Please enjoy. You may meet someone in your travels, because we have true love and wanderer here. So you may actually meet someone in your travels. Now, of course, that is complicated because you don't live there. But it doesn't mean that if you go slow, you're grounded, you're realistic, you're confident, you know, things could still work out. But what I'm feeling for some of you here, for those of you that are younger, that haven't been on your own a lot and haven't traveled a lot, there's still more for you to do. And it's not to say that you're not going to have love, or you're not going to meet someone, or you're not going to be in love with anyone, but your soul is maybe not ready to completely rest or settle down yet. But when you are ready for that, you know, put down roots somewhere, get grounded, take things slowly, be authentic, be confident. Like all of these things are going to help you find true love. And some of you may find some really cool ass partners while you're traveling around. You may actually find somebody and it's like, bam, if I lived here and you lived here, whoa, you know. But sometimes, you know, with love, we also have to be realistic. We also have to feel very safe and secure. I feel like you guys are going to meet an amazing King of Cups who is makes you feel very secure, very comfortable. Somebody who's really passionate, very emotional, passionate, makes you feel very like safe and secure. Okay. And is okay with taking things slowly, that doesn't like push things in a hurry. Okay, so I just had to tell you guys about that wandering energy, because I do feel some people watching this reading, timing is at work in your love life, and there's still more travels for you to go. There's still more people to meet. So relax and enjoy the ride. Okay, and when you're ready to kind of put down your roots, somewhere, you'll have all these amazing experiences, like being on your own, doing your own thing, traveling, being independent. Like you'll have all these amazing experiences behind you that are going to be extremely attractive to a partner. Okay, so I'm just letting you know that. And I know traveling is not available for all people. Like we need money to travel, we need time to travel. I completely get it. Okay, some of you may have met a lot of people who are like traveling through your town, or maybe you live in like a tourist type of a town and there's constantly, you know, people coming in, you know, foreigners or people coming in, and it's like, whoa, I'm meeting all these people that don't live here, and it is passionate and it is wild. Enjoy it, pile number 3. If you're having passionate, wild, sexy experiences with foreigners, enjoy it, for God's sakes, you know. But at the same time, like if you're really, you know, a lot of times those, like when people drift into town and drift out of town, a lot of those relationships are not very good, like on a practical level. It's like there is passion, there is fire, there is like, you know, and it's not to say that it couldn't work. Like, you know, one of my friends, I just have to tell you, pile number 3, she was doing a tour abroad program in New Zealand. This was years ago. And she met the dude who was like giving the tour, like this scuba diving tour. And they ended up falling in love. And yeah, he ended up moving to the United States. And they have like 3 kids together. And now this is like 20 years later. And they live together and they have 3 kids and they're happy and they live in the United States together. Not to say that that can't happen. Like that can totally happen to you, pile number 3, particularly because I see Sun in Sagittarius here. And I've just been talking about my Sagittarius friend and then my other friend who is a Virgo. Anyway, her boyfriend though, the one she ended up marrying from New Zealand, was a Sagittarius though, as I recall. So, you know, we could have Virgo, Sagittariuses in this reading as well. But, you know, it says adventure, Sun and Sagittarius, stride out into new territory. And, you know, we see somebody in a desert riding a camel here. So this could have to do with, you know, meeting someone from a different culture, meeting someone, you know, that is like from the Middle East or has a different culture than you. I know not everyone wants to meet, you know, whoever from the Middle East, but I'm just saying, I have to say it because it's here, pile number 3. But yeah, it's about being open. And honestly, I feel like with you guys, your love life has the potential to be really unique and different, unicorn. And you guys chose the unicorn, and you have the potential to meet like different people, like, you know, people of different faiths and religions, and people from different cultural backgrounds, interracial relationships. Like, I feel like you guys have like such a broad scope of like what you could get involved in. And it's actually really exciting and it's really fun, you know? And perhaps you're like, yeah, it's been a little bit too fun, quote unquote, wink, wink, right? And I get that too. If you're like, yeah, it's been a little bit, I'd really like to stop wandering and find a true love and settle down and all of that. You know, and for some of you, those of you who are very adventurous and fun and like to travel and are always gone all the time, like you may need to settle down a little bit, get grounded, go slowly, you know, that type of thing. But I also feel some of you here could meet, you know, a sexy stranger on a vacation or somebody who's coming through town. And, you know, maybe it's kind of transient because it's kind of in and kind of out type of a thing. But that doesn't mean that it isn't like an amazing experience, and that it isn't like you go through like ecstasy, right? Neptune. Ooh, this feels like ecstasy, right? Passion, fire, flames, emotion. And, you know, sometimes we want to have those types of experiences, and it's okay if the person has to leave at the end of the day. You can be the judge of what you want, pile number 3, and decide how you want to do it. But I do feel like Spirit is saying, if you are wanting to find true love where you feel very safe, secure, confident, and grounded in the connection, Go slowly with a person. And that means, you know, dating, going on dates. That means, you know, maybe sexually going a little bit slower than maybe you usually do. But it says here, which is fine with me. You do what you want, pile number 3, your body, you do whatever you feel like, my friends. But Spirit just saying, you know, if you really want to build that consistent thing, then take it slowly, okay? And perhaps some of you, it says stride out into new territory, Sun in Sagittarius. So maybe some of you should try dating some different type of people that you don't normally go for, or try dating, you know, a person that you wouldn't normally. I'm not telling you to go out with someone you're not attracted to. I'm just telling you, you know, widen your pool, widen your scope type of a thing. Stride out into new territory. I love it. And I love a confident stride. You know, pile number 3, I think, you know, people with a confident walk, that walk in a very confident, not a cocky way, but just a very confident way. Perhaps some of you have a very sexy walk with the way that you walk or how you do things. Like, go for it, pile number 3. And maybe some of you will be attracting a very, you know, sexy Sagittarius wanderer in your life. Good for you, pile number 3. Have fun for the rest of us. Oh my gosh, look at that. Queen of Cups. Heck yeah. Neptune, Neptune. Oh my gosh, so sweet. Spirit's like, we're bringing you a, you know, King and Queen of Cups. Neptune, Neptune. Emotion, emotion. Love, love. Like, we are bringing you, and you know what's so funny is clearly they are of 2 different skin tones here. So perhaps some of you are falling for somebody that has a different ethnic background than you. Amazing. Or lives in is from a different country. Amazing, pile number 3. I love it. And truly, truly, truly a union of 2 spiritual partners coming together. I love that. Look at that. Look what's coming for you. My lovely Queen of Cups in pile number 3. Here's your King of Cups with passion right there. So hello, there you are. We have the Hierophant here. You are worthy of everything good in this life. Everything. Yes, and getting grounded, Hierophant. Getting very grounded in like your feelings and your emotions. For those of you that like to go barefoot a lot and are kind of like hippies, I feel like somebody's going to be really like attracted to that. Or perhaps you look really cute with your hair up with just like a couple of tendrils down. And I feel like some of you have like a really unique style. Also, for those of you that want to be parents or be mothers, or fathers, I can see that here too with the King and Queen of Cups. And this Hierophant energy, because Hierophant is associated with a Taurus in the tarot, definitely go slow, definitely get grounded, definitely feel secure, okay? Feeling secure in your emotions, feeling secure that that person's gonna stick around and they're not just gonna leave. We have here Page of Wands. Yep, Sun in Sagittarius, stride out into new territory, Page of Wands, okay? And, you know, the Page of Wands isn't necessarily going going super slow. The Page of Wands is like, you know, maybe a little like really excited, perhaps kind of rushing into things a little bit. So learning to kind of, I know when you get like really excited, you might feel, oh, I feel like a kid again, or I feel really excited, right? But I feel like Spirit said, go slow, but be confident. Be sure of yourself, but, you know, take things at a reasonable pace is what I feel here. No, like marrying someone within like 72 hours of meeting them. Okay, let's stay away from that, pile number 3. And oh, we have the King of Wands, true love. And I feel like this is you looking at your past self and, you know, and really looking at like the person that you've grown into. Secure, confident, strong, you know, maybe even a little dominating. Go ahead with your bad self, pile number 3, if you're a little a little dominating. Perhaps you used to be, when you were a kid, you were very adventurous and you did like trying different things. But now as you've gotten older, life feels a little more treacherous. Okay. But I also feel, and so Spirit just saying, have new experiences, try new things. The King of Wands in the tarot is actually represents Sagittarius. So I find that very interesting here. Sag is showing up a lot. But allowing your inner child to like roam and be free and experience life more is definitely, for those of you particularly that are that haven't had an opportunity to do that, Spirit really wants to point you in that direction. And for those of you that were around people growing up that told you you can't do that, or you're being too optimistic, or like poo-pooed everything you were trying to do, I also feel like standing up to that energy and saying, no, I'm independent and I'm choosing what I want for my life, and I'm not going to let anyone control my life. I'm also not going to let anybody talk down to me or make me feel less than. And perhaps some of you had a family member that talked down to you and really made you feel less than, or really made you feel like your ideas weren't valuable, or like always tried to like cheapen your experiences is a word that I'm getting. And Spirit just saying that perhaps some of you that really messed with your confidence a lot. And so just really, understanding where that energy comes from and getting back to like that confident energy that you had when none of that was kind of like dumped on you, and feeling kind of like a kid again, and feeling like your younger self would look at your older self and be like, wow, you're so cool. Type of thing. So, and maybe some of you here too, I could also see somebody getting like a short, sassy haircut, like having longer hair, but then getting like a short, sassy haircut, or just trying different things or dressing in a different way. Perhaps some of you are looking into that as well. Okay. But time to get fired up about your love life, pile number 3, and time to really, challenge yourself to have some new experiences and to really be independent and put yourself out there and go some of those places that you wanted to do or travel to when you were younger. Okay, so pile number 3, that is what I am getting for you, my friends. I hope that reading resonated for you, and I wish you all of the best. Take care, my loves.